Okay, so there's nothing new in this video, but you might want some hints. So let me remind you what separation of variables is. We did it in video 34, but we didn't work on it in the last video. Separation of variables is a technique you use to solve a differential equation that's of this format. Y prime is some f of xy. Right, x and y. You're going to replace y prime with dy dx, and in doing so you're going to try to split the dy onto one side, so you're going to get blah 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 dy equals blah 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 dx, where you put only some function here, some function of g, like I'm just going to call it g1, some function of y over here, and some function, another function over there. If you succeed in doing that, you can integrate both sides, and then you succeeded. That's all you're trying to do. And if you're just trying to classify the problem as separable, you do not have to solve it. But if it asks you to solve it, then of course you have to solve it. But if you're simply trying to classify it as being solvable, then you go ahead and do that. All right. There is a slight difference between a general solution and a specific solution, or a particular solution. The word is like, if I were to do, let's say, y equals y prime, and I want to find the solution. So y is equal to c e to the x is called the general solution, because we haven't filled in that constant of integration to find out what c is. But if you instead have a question that says y equals y prime, but y of 0 equals 3, then you would first find your general solution. Okay, you'd do that. And then you'd say, wait, if y of 0 is equal to 3, and that's equal to c times e to the 0, but that's 1. So c equals 3. Then you plug it back in. Then you would say y is equal to 3 e to the x. That is a particular solution. And you know mathematicians, they're super lazy, so you can just call this PS, GS, this one could be your general solution, and this is your particular solution. They just abbreviate stuff all over the place because this song and dance happens all the time. You have a differential equation, first you find the general solution, and then you find the particular solution. So you just go like that. I still have a memory, and I don't know if this is an apocryphal story or not, but when I was a TA at RPI, another TA told the story that when they were grading someone's final and they were asked to find the general solution, a student who was frustrated and hadn't studied simply drew a cartoon of a general and named him General Solution, and look, I found him. I don't know if it's a true story, but I do remember it every time I teach about general solution. I think of something like this on someone's page. Okay, so my hints for questions 3A and 3B, they are separable, but that's too much work. They are functions you know and love, so you should just use guess and check. Don't worry about it. Don't stress over it. Just use a function that you know to be the answer. And if you're playing game 5, these will be on the tip of your tongue. If these don't naturally come to your recollection, maybe you should pause your work on the videos and the worksheets and just go play the game for a while. And that'll make problem 3A and 3B very easy. For 3C and 3D, they're of course separable, but there's no really easy shortcut. They're just kind of a nuisance, and it's okay because it's just separable, so you end up with 2 review questions, one on the left and one on the right. No big deal. The C's will end up in weird places because you're going to have to solve for y when you're done, so the y's will end up looking like they're in strange places, but don't worry about it, it's fine. And then for 3E, it is of course separable, but I just want to remind you that once you finish separating, you're going to use substitution, at least on one of the pieces. So do not be scared off. Don't be afraid. It's just U substitution. It just looks really, really strange until you realize it's just U substitution. If you're still scared, you can just ask Wolfram Alpha for the answer, and then as soon as you see the answer, you're going to be like, oh, now I get it. It's so easy now. So let yourself struggle a little bit, but if you need a hint from the internet, it's not the end of the world. So one way or another, you'll get all that. And that's the end of this video. The rest is one more video left. That's it, I guess.